I'm Dave Anderson. I head up commercial banking for BMO here in southeast Wisconsin. I've been here for about 26 years, been in banking for about 30 years. But I got my start in Wisconsin Dells. Went to Wisconsin Dells High School, 1985 grad. And in 1984, went to Business World. So 2 years after the creation of the program, I was one of the fortunate 2 students who was selected to go to Business World.
How did Business World impact your life?
The cool thing is that I had selected a career in business administration because of my experience at Business World. That program taught everything there was to know as a junior going in as a senior in high school about business administration. And in the simulations, in the 3.5 days I was there, I was able to run a business. I was able to lead a business, work with a team to make critical decisions that ultimately would either help the company fail or succeed. Fortunately for us, we succeeded.
What is the most important quality a student can bring to the workforce?
And I would tell you more than anything, it's knowledge, attitude, and skills, right? So everybody's going to need a requisite amount of knowledge about business or whatever field it is that you're studying. Okay, so that's one. That's general knowledge. The bigger factor is attitude. If you come into the workforce with an understanding that you don't know what you don't know, and you're able to ask questions about those things that you don't know, so in other words, be humble and hungry to learn. If you're able to be humble and self-aware of the skill sets that you're going to need to be successful, attitude helps us coach you. And so none of you are going to have all of the requisite skills that you're going to need to be successful day one. Okay? So take the pressure off. Come into the workforce, open your mind up to learning, and be aware that there's a whole world out there that you're just unfamiliar with. Skills, don't worry about it. We'll teach you for skills, whether it's in banking or economics or engineering or whatever the career choice is. Be open to the concept that you'll get better if you're open to learning and you realize that you don't have all the answers.
What are some of the other economic and career opportunities in Wisconsin?
There are a lot of other careers, not only in business, in the service industry, in the manufacturing industry, in the construction industry, in the nonprofit space. And so what I would encourage you to do there is if you're really interested in any of those fields, including banking, find those people that are in those jobs today. Ask them how they got started. Ask them about a typical workday. Ask them about different types of knowledge that might be useful to them as a prospective employer, as an employee is coming in. What are we looking for? We're all looking for essentially the same thing, right? We're looking for people that are wide open to learning, that have a great attitude, that can work independently, but also in teams. We're really no longer in an economy that is represented by a bunch of individuals doing a bunch of different things, hoping to accomplish a similar goal. We are instead an economy that draws on the skills of a lot of different people, the knowledge of a lot of different people, diverse people, to give us more creative ideas. And in working in those teams, you get the synergies. So 1 + 1 = 3, not 1 + 1 = 2.
As the Wisconsin economy changes, what career sectors do you see really growing?
30 years ago, the majority of the economy was manufacturing based. Still today, manufacturing is a huge part of what Wisconsin does and the Midwest does. But you've heard a lot about STEM fields. Math and engineering and science are just burgeoning career paths. Technology fields, anything in information technology and security. The service sector represents about 2/3 of our economy today. 50 years ago, it was switched back to was mostly manufacturing and ag. So those sectors are still present in Wisconsin: ag, manufacturing, nonprofit space, distribution, wholesale. I'm missing one in there. If I didn't say nonprofit already, I might have missed it. But regardless of your chosen career path, Wisconsin is a very, very diverse economy from the standpoint of multiple industries. You know, whether you want to choose a career as a mason or construction, or you want to be a design engineer, or you want to be a nuclear physicist or chemical engineer, or start your own business. There are all kinds of entrepreneurial things that you can do, not only in Wisconsin, but across the country today. If you ask the right questions, if you do the research necessary. I mean, the internet is a great thing today. We didn't have that in 1984. But you can learn about anything that you want to and pursue a career in any of those fields.
What other career advice do you have for students?
My last bit of career advice would be, and I said this a little bit earlier, but it's really being wide open to learning and being humble enough and self-aware enough to realize you don't have all the answers to every question. I've been in banking for 30 years, and one of the things that keeps me in banking is that my job is different every day. The struggles that our businesses, our clients have are different struggles. Even those same companies in the same industry doing exactly the same thing. They have different marketing challenges. They have different sourcing, raw material sourcing issues. They have different personnel issues. They have different capital plans. And so for me, one of the things that keeps me really motivated to be on top of my game is just to read a lot. If you think about, an average book is about 300 pages. If you read 10 pages a day out of any book, you will have gone through 12 books a year. And the knowledge that you gain from that will be immeasurable to you as you're starting to go for your first interviews, right? So it's not just the knowledge that you bring to the table through high school and college and middle school and your life experiences. It's what else have you done to expand the vast storehouse of knowledge that's sitting on top of your shoulders? And that's what's also going to make the difference between you and the next candidate, by the way. And the last thing I would say is attitude is everything. Come to work ready to hit the ground running with a great positive attitude. Be ready to work with other people. Roll up your sleeves, work with your pals on either side of you to produce things. And you'll be way better off for it.
How should students be thinking about next steps after high school?
So as you're thinking about your next steps after high school, some of you may know exactly what you want to do for the next 4 years. And for you, I would say, great, nice, good job. I hope that path works. For virtually everybody else, including those who have already pre-selected the next 4 years and the next 30 years of your life, I would say this: be curious. And if you haven't been curious yet, or if you know a neighbor's dad or mom that is a doctor and it seems really cool that they're a doctor or an engineer or a banker or whoever, that's awesome. Have you actually stopped them on the street and asked them what they do for a living? What is it about that career that wakes them up in the morning every day? They can't wait to get to work and put their time in during the week. What do they build? Right? Whether they're in manufacturing or they're in service, they're building something, whether it's a customer experience or they're solving a problem, or they're building a product, or they're solving a complex medical solution. They're doing something. There's something that motivates them to get up every day and go to work. What is it? And before you commit yourself to that long path, ask the question. The other thing I'd say is be interesting, right? Be interesting when you're asking those questions, because the person that you're talking to then will be interested in you, right? A lot of people forget that spot, right? Hey, we're just having a conversation, but how come that person is tuning out? Well, be interesting. And so that's why I asked you earlier, read books, right? Deepen your knowledge base. The last thing I would say is on the career path selection, you don't have to go to a 4-year college. You don't have to go to a 2-year college. You should get some additional training, but a lot of businesses today offer that training. There are mentorships, there are apprenticeships. In some of the schools, they have shop classes, and in those shop classes, they'll introduce you to manufacturing partnerships or construction contractor partnerships. Talk to your advisors at school. Help them help you understand what it is that you want to do for the rest of your life. You don't have to make a decision today, right? Many of us didn't. I was fortunate that I kind of knew what I wanted to do for most of the rest of my life, and it worked out for me. But I asked a lot of questions, and I was fortunate to have a lot of people that could guide me along that path. So be curious.
Do you have any parting words you'd like to share?
I'm going to leave you with one last piece of advice. And I'm going to read you a quote in a second from William Hutchinson Murray, which I actually was read at Business World. I think it was day 1 or day 2 by the head of Wisconsin Energy at the time, which was a major sponsor for us in 1984. And it goes something like this. Until one is committed, there is hesitancy, the chance to draw back, always ineffectiveness. Concerning all acts of initiative and creation, there is one elementary truth, the ignorance of which kills countless ideas and splendid plans, that the moment one definitely commits oneself, then providence moves too. All sorts of things occur to help one that would never otherwise have occurred. A whole stream of events issues from the decision, raising in one's favor all manner of unforeseen incidents and meetings and material assistance, which no man could have dreamt would have come his way. I have learned a deep respect for one of Goethe's couplets. Whatever you can do or dream you can do, begin it. Boldness has genius, power, and magic in it. Commit.